Hello folks, hope everyone is well. So there is another event occurring at the end of June. I haven't spoken about it in my annual forecast, so I thought let me make a separate video on this. Saturn retrograde begins on June the 30th at 25 degrees of Aquarius in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra and ends on November 15th at 18 degrees of Aquarius in the nakshatra of Shatabisha. So it's going to revert back to the earlier nakshatra, but stays in the same sign. Yeah, so let's get started with this talk. So Saturn retrograde, generally speaking, is a time of karmic rebalancing. The 5 days before and after retrograde periods are the most potent, right? Because why? The planet is moving very, very slow 5 days before and after. So the energy is more saturated. And at this time, events can easily manifest, right? Past actions and their harsh consequence may surface at this time. On the other hand, past action, including selfless action, responsible action, could be rewarded at this time. Because Saturn energy is intensified and internalized during retrograde, it can be felt as a time of limitation. So you can feel a lot of restriction at that time. Maybe things aren't going your way. Anger, frustration, anxiety can be there. Fear can certainly be there. As especially so if you're in Saturn Dasha or Antardasha. But remember, this is not a unique event, as every year Saturn goes retrograde for approximately 4 months. Yeah. So what is retrograde anyway? It doesn't mean that the planet is moving backward. All planets revolve around the sun, including the Earth. Whenever an outer planet comes very close to Earth, then it appears as if it's going retrograde, because from our perspective, it seems closer. But in fact, it's not going backward, right? We only perceive it in that way. It's regarded as very strong because the calculation is called Chestabel. In other words, the impact it has on us is strong. On the internal level, on the mental level, psychological level, right? Same as the nodes. You can also see that the Chestabel is stamina, which is like the ability to make effort with forceful results. Some of these results can manifest as very strange, unpredictable, unorthodox. That's also the nature of Bakri, like retrograde is like Bakri. And at times, magically, the impossible can manifest too. But I don't really agree with like astrologers, oh, you'll see reversals. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. But you may be going back to something. But the power of retrograde is such that if you are going back to something to revise something, or to revisit something, or to reassess something, or do a redo, just do a redo, then the results are strong. The results are actually more powerful. They're stronger. So this is where the power lies. Deeper. You can go deeper with the results. It's important to note the time that a planet makes a shift in its speed, the aspects that it makes when that event is occurring, to understand like how it will impact us generally. And then we speak about each ascendant, of course. This retrograde period will start on a positive note. Saturn doesn't receive any aspects from malefic planets at this time. Saturn retrograde 2024 is trine Venus. There's a fine 9 connection with Venus, which is called a sampandh. So you may be returning to an old relationship from your past. You may be making a commitment, because this is a good signature for loyalty in relationship. It's a time you will also look at the financial structures in your life to see where you need to make make them more firm and dependable. Venus is also leaving combustion and moving away from the sun at this time. And in Gemini, it's actually stronger than the sun. So the ability to be compromising and steadfast in relationship is also there. It will be possible to clearly express your needs, which is very helpful at times because that's becomes an obstacle. The other aspect occurring at this time is the Moon-Mars conjunction. So those needs can be expressed in a very sort of fiery way also. It can lead to like reactive actions, reactions, passionate connections, impulsive connections. It's a good transit for money matters, making new deals, starting new initiatives. They can have a long-lasting quality about them. Yeah. So let's speak about the active aspect when Saturn stations direct on November 15th at 18 degrees of Aquarius. It's important to note that Saturn has returned to Shatabisha, right? And at this time, there's a nakshatra exchange with Rahu. So there can be sudden developments where Aquarius and Pisces falls in your chart. Saturn also receives the 8th aspect of Mars from Cancer at this time. So developments can manifest in your domestic sphere. You may feel pressurized for some reason. Rahu is also throwing its exact 5th aspect onto Mars at this time, applying more pressure. There's a full moon in Aries in Parani at this time when Saturn goes direct. So again, it's like a moon in Aries when Saturn goes retrograde and when it goes direct. And Saturn aspects this full moon. So there's some kind of a culmination. Like depends on where Aries is falling in your chart, right? And depend on what planet is sitting in Aries. Some blocks are here now, but they will get resolved by the end of November when there's a new moon in Scorpio, like November 30th, I think it is. There are of course new beginnings for sure during this retrograde that like you could sort of make some tweaks and revisions quite easily. By the end of November, early December, like a solution will arrive depending on what came up mid-month. Jupiter opposes Mercury at this time as well and will help you come up with definitive plans and help you make necessary adjustments. Wherever the water signs fall in your chart is where you will see swift developments now. So, to understand how it will impact your sign, of course, see what Saturn rules in your chart. You'll be forced to reassess matters connected to those houses and complete that which you did not before. If it is a trinal or Kendra house, this will make the transit more impactful for you. Right? So now you like to see how it impacts you. Read it from your ascendant and your moon sign. For Aries, it's the 10th, 11th Lord transiting 11th house. You may return to the changes you implemented in your career and make some adjustments there. Saturn in 11th is actually excellent. And it's going to help you overcome any challenges that you've been facing. Right? With Jupiter's position in your 2nd house, this may see you making adjustments in money matters. It could be family issues you're dealing with now at this time. Big gains will come now through family or savings. Savings can also see a rise at this time. It's a time when you will see growth in your investments. It's a good time also to reconnect with the people that you met earlier. Some good advice, some beneficial connections could come through networking at this time. Social life can certainly improve. To make the best of this transit, connect and reconnect with others. Think about your goals. Assess whether they are achievable. You'll likely be taking action to redo some career moves and reassess some career goals at this time. If you started a new business, you can make some revisions now. Taurus, for you. For you, it's the 9th, 10th Lord. This could see you reassessing your actions that you've taken in the past year. Were they productive actions, or have they created more problems in your life? You may be reassessing your values. Also good for reassessing your career goals and see whether you're on the right path. You can also meet a mentor that will guide you with this, perhaps. Any advice you get from people, wait till Saturn goes direct to see the viability of this advice, I would say. But remain accessible to all the knowledge and the counsel that you can get at this time. With Jupiter in the 1st house, you'll find that you're on the right track anyway. Yeah. Gemini, for you, it's the 8th, 9th Lord in the 9th house. Saturn is friendly to your Lagna Lord, Mercury. So joint resources may go through some sudden shifts now, especially with Saturn making a trine aspect to Venus in the beginning of the transit. The obstacles that you were experiencing and making progress will lessen at this time, so it's a good transit for you. Watch for taking shortcuts or unethical paths to reach easy success. You will see some progress in career matters now as well, but the fruits of your labor may take time to manifest with that Jupiter in the 12th. Right? Cancer, 7th, 8th Lord transiting 8th house. This would have been a difficult transit for you. Health issues may have popped up. Cracks in relationships that appeared during Ashtama Shani can be remedied now because Saturn is going retrograde. So actually it's a good transit. Retrograde is good for you. You will feel some relief because of this transit. It's a good time to review your investments if you have any. It's a time when you face your fears, deal with them. Right? It is a dignified 8th Lord placement. So if there were fears or changes, especially in relationship matters, it's time to confront them. Don't listen to advice from others. Rather wait till Saturn moves direct to make an important decision. Leo, for you, 6th, 7th Lord transiting 7th house. Good time to reflect on your past actions. Good time to reassess your daily routines and make healthy changes. It could be anything. It could be like a workout thing. You like the food that you eat, the vitamins that you take. Spiritual practices. Here Saturn could have felt very heavy in relationships. You could have felt burdened by your partner in some way. There may have been health issues that you were dealing with or your partner was dealing with. If this is the case, now is the time that you can get to the root of them. There could be gaps in communication or your partner could have undergone some problems. For Virgo, Saturn is retrograde in your 6th house. This can have you reassessing old problems and issues. For some of you, if you were dealing with custody battles, now is the time when you can see some progress. If you considered adoption, now would be a good time to look into it. If you have your own business or practice, now is the time to make some changes that you were thinking about. You can really get excellent results here. Yeah. Saturn here gives a lot of resilience to overcome obstacles and challenges. If you were suffering from illness, from some like disease, like some kind of chronic illness, now the solution may just come out of nowhere, leading to a quick recovery for you. For Libra, this retrograde movement sees Saturn moving through your 5th house. You could be returning to study a subject that you had started already. Saturn moving retrograde can make your intellect mature enough to take the right decisions. Because it's your 6th Lord, Saturn in the 5th house can usually bring a hit to that confidence level. You may be going through low self-esteem for some reason. So moving retrograde is actually a bit of a relief because you can go and reflect on whether those feelings are even valid or not. Right? Sometimes we're feeling low, but there's no real reason for it. 5th house is also devotion. So good remedy is like reading scriptures or any kind of spiritual practice. Yeah. Scorpio, Saturn is retrograde in your 4th house. This will force you to take a second look at your home life. Are you feeling emotional fulfillment, stability, security in your life? Retrograde status can increase your reflective powers. Right? Just take steps to build a strong foundation. You may seek advice at this time, but wait till the end of the transit to make a final decision if it's possible. Spiritual practices will give good results at this time. You may be forced to reconnect with your home city, with your birth family, Mother's health may also be problematic at this time. Also a good time to reflect on real estate options. If you're planning a purchase or a sale of a home, then wait till November if you'd like to get further clarity, if it's possible. But it's a fantastic time to research and look for a home, if that's what, if that's what you wanted to do. Sagittarius, third lord is retrograde in the third house. So you may get good results if you take initiatives. Good time to reflect on recent initiatives you may have taken. Go back, make revisions where necessary. It's a fantastic, actually, third house transit is actually a very good one. You can also find solutions to difficult problems at this time. If you thought about starting a new project business, you can certainly think about doing that now. You'll get substantial results if you're open to those in your immediate environment. And it could be anyone. It could be your family, it could be your friends, siblings. Do check all communications, though, at this time. Don't be quick to act. Don't be quick to react. Capricorn, Saturn retrograde in your second house. This may feel draining to you. It's a good time to think about how you spend your money. So don't take any chances with your finances, I would say. Stick to your status quo in this area of life. There can be some ups and downs in family life. You may figure out how to get rid of old debts. Wait to make investments at the end of the transit. Overall, it's an effective way to spend this retrograde period. You reflect on how to save, how to spend money. And pay attention to your speech, because if you've been gossiping or bad-mouthing people, this may come back to haunt you at this time. For those with Capricorn moon, this is the last leg of that Sade Sati. So relief is close by. Aquarius, Saturn retrograde in your first house. This is a time for you to reflect on your past actions. Good time for introspection. Look at your image, your health, your appearance at this time. Make revisions in these areas if necessary. Reconsider your life goals, especially if you're Aquarius moon. This could be a testing time for you if you've neglected your goals, your personal needs. Right? Wait till the end of transit to make important decisions. Saturn in the first house can trigger health issues, so be mindful of stressful situations. So Pisces, Saturn is retrograde in your 12th house. 12th house is a house of letting go, so that may be a theme at this time. There could be a foreign location on the cards. Just think about letting go, even like the clutter in your life. Like if you have shoes you don't wear, get rid of them. If you have clothes you don't wear, donate them. That sort of thing is very good for Saturn 12th house transit. Foreign relocation can certainly happen. It's a very dignified Saturn transit. It's a good time to dig deeper, do some research on this. Charity work, donation, all that supported at this time. Voluntary work. Expenses can also decrease during that retrograde phase. You can achieve some good insights on where you're losing energy in life for no reason, which is also the 12th house. So you may be cutting things from your life at this time that are draining, right? Includes people, includes activities.